The Jamie Drake Equation, Chapter 2. This week is Space Week in school. Every class is learning about my dad's mission. When I took the register back to the school office yesterday, I spotted Class 3 making models of the International Space Station out of tin foil and toilet rolls. And then, on my way back to my own class, I bumped into this little kid who was dressed up like a baby alien. I nearly jumped out of my skin in surprise. He was wearing a homemade spacesuit, his face painted bright green with sparkly dealy boppers sticking out of his frizz of black hair. "I know who you are," he said, looking at me open-mouthed, his eyes wide with wonder. "Your dad's a spaceman." "That's right," I said, feeling pretty cool that my fame had spread all the way to year 1. "I'm Jamie Drake." This kid starts jiggling up and down with excitement, his dealy boppers bouncing around wildly. Then he asks me the question I get asked at least 3 times a day. "How does your dad do a wee in space?" Up on the International Space Station, everything is weightless. So my dad just floats around and can even fly like a superhero. But all anyone ever wants to know is how my dad goes to the loo. I'm in year 6. This means that at school we get to do all this serious educational stuff about my dad's mission. This week we're learning about alien worlds, interstellar travel and nanotechnology. Right now our teacher, Mrs. Solomon, is writing our Space Week homework on the whiteboard. Invent an alien. "Is there anybody out there?" Mrs. Solomon asked, turning back to face us with a grin. She points at the sky outside our classroom window. Do aliens exist, or are we alone in the universe?" Sitting next to me, Minty pokes her elbow into my ribs. "Course they do," she whispers. "I've seen them on YouTube." Minty's real name is Araminta, and she used to go to a posh private school, but then her dad got sent to prison for some big bank robbery and she ended up here at Austin Park Primary. Sometimes I think that the police got the wrong member of the family and they should have locked up Minty instead, especially when she keeps poking me in the ribs. I wish I didn't have to sit next to her, but Mrs. Solomon seems to think we should become friends because we're both the new kids at school. I don't think so. Minty watches all these crazy YouTube videos made by weirdos who wear tin foil on their heads. One showed a rubber dummy that was supposed to be an alien being sliced to pieces by these doctors dressed in spacesuits. It was so obviously a fake, but Minty swore blind that it was a real-life alien autopsy. "This Friday," Mrs. Solomon continues, glancing down as she taps on her laptop, "Jamie's dad, Commander Dan Drake, is launching a mission to the stars to search for alien life. Let's take a look at this video to find out more about his mission." Next to the whiteboard, the flat screen display flickers into life. There I see a picture of my dad dressed in his astronaut gear, flanked by the rest of the ISS crew. The butterflies in my stomach start to flutter at this frozen picture slowly dissolving to reveal an image of a strange-looking satellite-shaped silver ball flying high above the Earth. Then a deep voice, like the one that you hear on trailers for the latest blockbuster movies, starts to rumble from the speakers. "From the launch of the first satellite in 1957, the human race has endeavoured to explore every corner of the solar system in which we live. From planetary landings to solar surveys, the knowledge we have gained has helped to understand this unique place in the universe. Now it is time for the human race to take its next step and begin to explore the galaxy." As the voice speaks, spectacular photographs fill the screen. I see dusty red mountains of Mars stretching under a butterscotch sky, Jupiter's swirling storms and the ice rings of Saturn. Images of Mercury, Venus, Uranus and Neptune, each world so beautiful and strange. Then these pictures start to speed up. The planets flashing by in a blur of colours, yellow, red, brown, blue, green, before dissolving to reveal a photograph of the sun. Our sun is the only one star out of the 200 billion stars that make up our galaxy, the Milky Way, the voice announces. Until now, the great distances between these stars has kept the possibility of interstellar travel out of humanity's grasp. But with advances in microelectronics, nanotechnology and laser engineering, at last the human race can reach for the stars. Led by Commander Dan Drake, the crew of the International Space Station are now making preparations for their final phase of the Lux Aeterna mission. Construction of the orbital launch platform is now complete, and on Friday the 3rd of November at 800 hours, Commander Drake will use the Advanced Manned Maneuvering Unit to travel from the ISS to the higher orbit of the Lux Aeterna launch platform to perform final checks on the light swarm probes. Dad told me that Lux Aeterna is a Latin phrase that means eternal light, which is a pretty cool name for a giant space laser. On the screen, a swarm of silver kites float free from the heart of the flower. Inside the satellite spiral of solar panels, I see an inner ring of glowing red lights. The launch platform's laser array. As I watch these red lights suddenly shoot out to form a single beam, this red laser light striking the space kites and accelerating them to the stars. Launched on the interstellar journey, the light swarm probes will travel to a star called Tau Ceti, located 108 trillion kilometers from Earth. Tau Ceti is orbited by a system of 5 planets, with at least one of these worlds located within the star's Goldilocks zone, where liquid water and life could exist. Strange new planets now fill the screen, worlds of ice and oceans burning blue in the depths of space. Thanks to the efforts of Commander Dan Drake and the ISS crew, within your lifetime, the human race might finally discover the answer to the eternal question, are we alone in the universe? As the screen fades to black again, this time for good, everyone starts clapping and cheering. I can't stop myself from blushing knowing that they're cheering for my dad. I feel so proud of him, but strangely I can't help feeling a bit jealous too. Everything revolves around the fact that my dad's an astronaut, where we live, where we go on holiday, and now even my lessons in school. Sometimes I wish I didn't have to share him with the world. Are we alone in the universe? Beams Mrs. Solomon excitedly. That's the question I want you to think about, Class 6. Turning back to the whiteboard, our teacher takes aim with her laser pointer to underline our homework task. Invent an alien. Imagine the planets the light swarm probes might start discovering orbiting Tau Ceti. What strange alien creatures could they find there? For your homework, I want you to invent your own alien species. Think about the kind of world that it's from. Does it come from a jungle or the desert? Or might it be some kind of water world? How will this affect your alien that you invent? Everyone starts talking at once, the whole class bubbling with excitement about the idea of dreaming up their own alien life form. Minty turns to me with a quizzical look on her face. So, what will you do if your dad meets an alien up there? Has he got some sort of ray gun to blast it to bits with if it starts eating him? Aliens love the taste of human flesh. Feeling kind of grossed out, I quickly shake my head. My dad's not going to Tau Ceti, I tell her, speaking slowly to make sure she understands, seeing as she seems to have missed the point of the video completely. He's just going to do a spacewalk to launch the light swarm probes. They're the ones that are heading to the stars in search of alien life. Minty pulls a face like I'm the one that's stupid. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that some Martian won't fly past when your dad's on his spacewalk and make a meat feast out of him. As you can see, Minty is seriously annoying. My dad's on the International Space Station, not on the menu of some intergalactic Pizza Hut. I'm just about to add that Martians don't actually exist when our teacher claps her hands together. I'm so pleased that you're excited about your homework, Mrs. Solomon says, raising her voice so she can be heard over the hubbub. And I'm looking forward to seeing your presentations about the weird and wonderful aliens you've invented. If you like, you can even dress up as your alien creation. But right now we need to practice another essential skill that all astronauts need. She turns back to the whiteboard, rubbing out the homework task and writing the word equations in capital letters. It's time to revise for your maths test tomorrow. Everyone groans, including me. It's true, you do need to be a total maths genius to make it as an astronaut. That's why I always get my dad to help me with my maths homework. But since he went into orbit, my marks have taken a bit of a nosedive. I mean, we get the chance to chat on the phone most days and have a video conference once a week. But I don't want to waste this time talking about sums when Dad's floating in space. As Mrs. Solomon hands out our revision sheets, I look down at the list of equations with a sinking feeling. I wish Dad was here to help me.